Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and somewhat weird news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch. And that's the fact that the official Japanese Monster Hunter Twitter account revealed a brand new collaboration coming to the game. But this one, there's certainly something of a catch. Now before I begin, do keep in mind that all of this is in Japanese, so I'm actually translating offhand, so I don't necessarily speak native Japanese, so there are probably some little mistakes here and there, but other than that, most of the details I think I've nailed down. Okay, so with that out of the way, Capcom revealed that Monster Hunter Rise is getting a brand new collaboration with sengan-en for Otomo Airu called Yasu. This is a palico named Yasu. And essentially, in order for you to be able to obtain it, you actually have to be in Japan. And there's no other way to be able to get it at this point in time. Now, there's a little bit of background here that I need to go over just for full context. Sengan-en is actually a tourist attraction located in Kagoshima, Japan. Kagoshima is essentially all the way at the south of Japan. It's a port city, essentially, a seaside port. And within Kagoshima, you have this Sengan-en resort, this location. And I'm actually going to read directly from their website, which I'm going to link in the video description. Sengan-en is a traditional garden and stately home in Kagoshima built in the 19th century, head of the Shigematsu family, in 1658. Sengan-en uses the principle of borrowed scenery and incorporates it in the background elements of active volcano, Sakujima, and Kinko Bay as part of the gardens. So all that we're looking at here is that Sengan-en, which is the direct collaboration that Monster Hunter Rise is going to be doing with, is basically a resort, a place that you go in between, whenever you're tired of work and you're just gonna go chill for a little bit for a weekend or something like that. You go to a resort, chill, and then you go back home. That's what essentially Sengan-en is, located in Kagoshima. Now the weird thing is, like I mentioned at the top of the video, there's a brand new collaboration for this brand new layered armor palico called Yasu. And according to what Capcom is actually saying right now, the only way for you to be able to obtain it, this is actually starting from August 1st all the way through September 12th, is to actually be in this location in Kagoshima Prefecture. So you have to actually be in Japan to be able to get it. I don't necessarily remember Capcom having collaborations that were like, you have to be at this very specific location in person to be able to get this thing in order to actually be part of the game. I don't necessarily remember if Capcom had done collaborations like that in the past for any previous Monster Hunter game. So do leave a comment if you remember any of these specific ones like this, where this has actually happened in the past, because I don't necessarily remember this happening before. But what they do specify is that this layered armor, essentially this Yasu palico, will be available in the future at some point. Now, I don't necessarily know when. They actually don't specify in the website, but they do say that worldwide it will become available at some point in the future. Now, this is another interesting thing. In order for you to actually be able to get it, you have to be able to get into this resort or this essential gardens admission place. So in order for you to be able to do that, it's not like a park. You can't just walk in. You have to actually pay, which is 3,000 yen with taxes included. And that's about $28 or so. Children, they also could get cheaper for 22,000 yen, which is about $19 or so. So, essentially they don't have to pay all that much. But the point of this thing is that you have to go to this place, you have to pay to be able to get in. They specifically mentioned on the website that you have to bring your Switch, you have to bring the game, and they'll essentially give you a QR code that you can scan. And presumably that's how you're going to be able to get the download information to be able to input to your Nintendo Switch account to download this palico. So it's one of those things where you need to do a lot of steps to be able to actually get there, on top of the fact that you need to be in Japan only, which again, most of the people watching this video obviously aren't. So, it's one of those situations where Capcom is very deliberately making this a Japan only item for a very limited amount of time, and then eventually everyone else is probably going to get it in a couple of months. So, which is weird and bizarre. And again, I don't remember them actually doing this before. Now, even in the little pamphlet that they actually have available there, it simply reads, only event participation can be used in the local area for the Yasu. The game, console, and systems are required, so please do not miss them. Admission and distribution for this are restricted and only for a selected few audience. Otome Yasu will be distributed in the future worldwide. So even in their pamphlet, they're very specific about the fact that this thing is only going to be available locally for now, August 1st through September 12th, and then eventually in the future, they'll probably make it available for an online download for everyone in the world. And this isn't necessarily just limited to you actually going there, getting this QR code, and then just coming back. they're actually having like actual events, because again, this is like a gardens, a visual resort, so you can actually go there and actually like have a pretty good time, I presume. But they're having like actual like scavenger hunts and stuff, like locations, educational in a way, but also like related to Monster Hunter. Again, I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can actually see what I mean, because there's a lot of stuff in there that is just not necessarily relevant to the game or anything like that, but they're actually like trying to say like, hey, if you just come here for the Monster Hunter stuff, we also have these other things as well that are relevant to perhaps your interest. They have like AR content for like, essentially if you take a picture, they'll put like a polygon on top of your picture and stuff like that. Obviously, they also have merchandising, and they even have like Monster Hunter themed food as well. So it's just a whole thing that they're doing in this place, which again is interesting in its own right. But the fact that they're saying like, in order for you to be able to get content for Monster Hunter Rise, which again, even if it's just a layer palico or one of those assistant buddies that they recently introduced, where you can actually go ahead and download a brand new buddy and essentially is going to be part of your game, even if it's one of those things, which I think would be better than just layered armor, they don't necessarily make it very easy, because again, you need to be in Japan, you need to go to this resort, you need to pay to be able to get in. I mean, there's a lot of things that they're asking for people to be able to do. And again, in order for essentially just get like a menial thing in the game, not necessarily something major. When I actually saw this tweet, I was very confused, and I actually had to do a lot of reading just to be able to try to comprehend what the hell they were actually saying, because it just, the idea of it just seems so bizarre that you have to go to a resort to be able to get one of these things. And again, the fact that I don't remember Monster Hunter actually having, or Capcom doing any collaboration with an actual in-place location for you to be able to actually go there and get in-game items, I don't think that's necessarily something they've done in the past. Again, do leave a comment if you actually remember them doing this with something in the past. And to contextualize that even further, they have done stuff like you can actually go to like a crepes place in Japan and be able to get like Palico and Palamuse ice creams and crepes and stuff like that. They've done stuff like that, but that's not necessarily like in-game items that are going to be available in the game, so you can essentially like play with. These are things that essentially you go to place, you eat, you can buy a t-shirt, hat, whatever. That's merchandising. But this is like actual in-game content that they're putting very specifically in one place, in one location, and they're saying for everybody else, just basically you'll get it eventually whenever we feel like it, which again is a very weird thing that I don't necessarily think they've done in the past. And I think it doesn't necessarily help, obviously, the reputation that the game has right now, which I've talked about in the past already, where a lot of people are very upset that there's a lack of content, a lack of support by Capcom for this game. And now they're saying like, hey, you actually have to be in certain places to be able to get content, which is again one of those things that like it doesn't necessarily help the reputation for the game going forward. But hopefully you guys found this interesting and I guess informative in this very own way. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.